was 10% of the ARV.
10% of the ARV. What's the ARV of this property?
I don't know. It's
We haven't figured it out.
So let's go back real quick. So I'm going to do quick down and dirty. I go to transaction history. No, actually, that's where I was. I'm going to go to comparable sales. This green guy. It's going to throw up all these sales in Marysville. I go to generate report. And they bought it for $260. There's the year it was built. It's 1,736 square feet. So I'm just going to scroll down here. The average square foot is, it's a very easy math, guys, $100.
Yep.
So how much is this house worth? $173,600. So 10% of $173,600? 17 grand, right? 17 grand is definitely way less than 54,000.
Which seems low for that house, though, right?
Well,
I don't know. This is Marysville. You see where it's located between these two apartment complexes, and it's not a very desirable house. There's no garage, no parking.
and that's kind of, you gotta look. If I
Yeah.
was gonna live there and I'm spending, let's say the $260 that they bought it, could I find something better in a nicer neighborhood for that price?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, but that, for ARV, that house, I mean, compared to some of the houses I've seen go for 205, 200.
What do you guys respond to that? Let's say he's your seller. Well, that's low for my house. What are you going to say to this guy?
The area doesn't support it.
Doesn't-
Look, here's the comps for the area. This is the average price for that market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to buy your house for that much money if the market supported it, but look at these recent comparables. 8th Street, I Street. Oh, I Street sold already? Dang. I wanted that house so bad. It was a great house. Another one on A Street. So look at this. I mean, your value's not there.
Yeah.
These are all.
39,000 for a 3.2. You're comparing my house to that? What do you think that thing looks like?
Well, this is where. So this is the down and dirty. You got to get in there and do. So again, down and dirty. You're gonna get out there. You're gonna throw out the high, throw out the lows. Obviously, I can get one for 400,000. Like, come on, what is that one? Where's this 400,000? This guy.
Take that one out and take out the 39.
It's Garden Avenue, man. It's like not even.
A long ways away.
Yeah, that is. It's almost a mile.
Mile away, yeah.
Yeah.
1610 is a mile away.
There you go. So
You didn't
again,
compare it.
down and dirty. So I'm gonna stick with the 175. Just go with that one. So let's go back into transaction history because you're gonna have to know this stuff, guys. So okay, notice the default. Should we write this stuff down maybe? All right.
Write it on the screen.
Yeah.
Now,
When you're getting your coffee, you can go over here and you can look at your key takeaways for the day.
there we go.
All right, what was the address for the house, guys?
615 C Street.
On it, man. Okay. So when I'm doing my research, this is what I'm doing. And it doesn't have to take a whole lot of time. So 615 C, we have an ARV 173. We have, we'll just call it the BC to bring current, 54,000. That's all we know so far, right? As far as numbers go and things like that. We know guys supposedly has a bankruptcy and stuff like that. So let's keep going into this a little bit more. Okay, so sales transfer here. We have a James Cahey to a James Cahey for $13,000.
Wouldn't that be just a modified?
It's a no. It's actually a deed transfer. So up here we have notice. So document type, you can see where it says notice of default. Then we also have so this one here is a deed transfer. I'm actually going to pull it up because what's this deed transfer for 13.5? It's a grant deed. And it says for valuable consideration, receipt of which is acknowledged, I, James Cahey, an unmarried man, hereby remise, release, and grant to James Cahey, an unmarried man, and Cheryl Vester, an unmarried woman, as joint tenants. So, in 2005,
They were shacking up.
he decides that he wants to take this property, which he already owns, and now he wants to add his shack-up honey, whoever she may be. We know who she is. And they do that because this is a change in sale. They computed the sale price because it's a step up in basis for $13,500.
Okay, so why does it show only Cheryl on title?
Probably better get it.
Is there a quick claim from him to her?
Well, didn't you say there was a bankruptcy? Would that take him out of that?
No, it wouldn't necessarily. So let's keep going though. So the second one we have, here's the sale, here's the deed transfer. So this is where he bought it from. So he bought it from so James bought it from Hester, and this is why you're getting the recordings, guys, because some of this will be your first pass through this stuff. You're gonna want to go back through it again. So here's the deed transfer from the Hesters. Let's come on. There we go. So Hester Ruse Cartwright, who acquired title as Hester Ruse Alvarez, an unmarried woman, granted it to James Cahey. So if you look at the dates on this one, this is May 2005. On this one, it's October 2005. So just 5 months later, he's transferring it to a joint tenants with his wife, or his whoever she is, significant other. Let's go back even farther. So in May, when he's buying this property, he says this is the mortgage that he's getting from JP Mortgage Chase for 174. And this is going to be your deed of trust. So he buys it from JP Chase. Where you can see for 174, it's a full-on 30-year mortgage. How can I tell it's a 30-year mortgage? 2035 is when the debt is paid in full.
And it's adjustable.
And it's adjustable. Why do you think he walked away from this property? Okay. So it's an adjustable.
That adds a lot of extra pages right there.
Adjustable always means it's gonna ramp up the payment by a lot.
It can.
Because it depends on the-
Well, right now, the feds have raised 5 consecutive times, and they're going to continue to raise another 3 this year they've already promised.
So it's based on the prime rate?
I don't know what the index is, but it's going to follow the Fed fund rate, whatever it is.
But it also,
trend.
in this paperwork you see right here, it will say how much it's gonna raise, how often, and what the max is.
So here it is.
So you gotta see
So
what-
that's right here. This is what.
Yes.
So here's what happened. So it looks like he had a fixed rate. I don't know if he had a 10-year fix or a 5-year fix. These ARMs. They're called adjustable rate mortgages. ARM. And it says that. Whoops.
It's a 5-year.
It's a note can be fixed for. It's a 5% interest rate. The first one, yeah. Initial rate increase will be June 10th.
Yeah, so that's 5 years.
It's a 5-year ARM. And at that point, what was happening in the economy in June 10th,
It was 10.
2010?
Well, it's in the middle of the tank.
Yeah.
Where were the feds? Where were the feds at? Do you guys remember historically? When
Remember, Red Magic kind of low rates.
they were extremely low. We trailed at like 0.5% for years, and the Fed just barely started raising interest rates about 2 years ago. So this guy has been riding low interest rates for a very, very, very long time. So he lucked out on the. But as we started creeping things back up,
And that's the exact time that I lost my house in Lincoln,
there you go.
because I bought it in 2004, and I had a low rate.
The LIBOR.
Huh?
This is the LIBOR. You guys don't need to know this stuff, but what the LIBOR is the LIBOR is the London Interbank Offered Rate. You know, we have the Fed's funds rate. You guys know what the Fed's funds rate is? It's the overnight lending rate. So if I'm a bank, and so I'm HIP National Bank, and I'm lending money to IREX Bank. In order for me to overnight money to him, I have to pay the Fed's money because they're the ones that basically create this money. You guys realize this, right? All money is created?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you lend it, it's now created out of thin air. So I'm lending money now to IREC, and the Fed's funds rate, it's at, let's say, 2.5%. So all of a sudden now, because now I've lended him money overnight, the feds are getting paid 2.5% on that money. So that's the Fed's funds rate. London has what's called the London Interbank Offered Rate. It's the same thing. Then their LIBOR tracks our funds rate by 0.5%. So if we're at 2.5, they're at 3. This is based off the LIBOR. So every time the feds go up, theirs goes up as well. So I got a lot of interest only. I got a lot of adjustable rate mortgages that. But you don't have to know this stuff. This is just
Sorry, did you say it's always 0.5% higher?
LIBOR typically is, yes.
So that's the cost of printing money out of thin air.
Loaning it from bank to bank for
Yep.
temporary purposes.
So on this one, you have that.
Money lender?
But it's not money that they actually have, it's money that they're.
Yeah.
Read the book, The Creature of Jekyll Island. So great book. It's called The Creature of Jekyll Island.
I've had that book for a while,
Yeah, read it.
but need to read it still.
And I hate to say, but if you take the real estate class and you do the financing one,
Yeah.
it gets way into that, and it's just like, I'm just like, oh my God.
When I had a mortgage
Absolutely
company,
nothing to
When
do
I had a
with
mortgage
it.
company, I realized that every time I created a loan, I was now creating debt that never existed before, that now the feds are getting paid interest on.